Before update 1.1.1, the Bad Juju had a bad reputation. Earned by completing the exotic bounty Talon's Legacy, Bad Juju is a very cool gun with great perks that just never did enough damage to be useful. That has changed after pulse rifles gained a significant damage buff in the weapon update patch. But was it enough to make Bad Juju a truly worthwhile exotic primary? Let's start by taking a look at what this gun provides. Bad Juju is a high rate of fire, low impact pulse rifle. It does come with full auto mode, which is, I think, very useful. Not only does this weapon not tire out my trigger finger like other pulse rifles, but it allows me to focus more on my aim than the timing of each shot. Next, we've got hip fire. This weapon has bonus accuracy while firing from the hip. This does make the weapon much more effective at close range. And finally, we've got string of curses. After each kill, this weapon will reload instantly and increase your damage for a short time. This is a very useful perk against mobs of enemies. What it allows you to do is to essentially move from enemy to enemy to enemy without having to reload. The bullets kind of magically appear in your clip, and they don't come from your ammo supply, so it feels like Bad Juju also never really runs out of ammo, which is very useful. And then kills will help charge your super. This is very effective against mobs of enemies because you'll find that you just get your super so quickly. In PvP, this gun really is a blast to use. In a scenario where you can consistently kill enemies in less than one clip, you will find that your thumb rarely needs to move to the reload button. And it really does help get your supercharged much quicker. Any area that rapidly feeds you easily killed enemies is going to feed right into the Bad Juju strengths. You will find that you can be much more liberal with your super use when using Bad Juju. Against high-tiered enemies or bosses, you do lose out on half of the String of Curses perk, as you will never be getting the reload perk to proc because the gun doesn't have the power to kill these enemies in one clip. But it can still be useful to take out the mobs that often spawn around these large enemies, thus charging your super to use on the boss. Ultimately, in PvP, the amount of damage you can do with this gun somewhat revolves around how effective your super is. I find the gun is extremely effective when equipped on my Voidwalker, Sunsinger, or even my Defender class. But other classes with supers that are less effective on bosses and more effective on mobs like Gunslinger, Blade Dancer, and Striker seem to get less benefit from Bad Juju. This is mainly because those supers are more effective against mobs than bosses, thereby creating a bit of redundancy. Overall, I think that situationally, when equipped by the right class, the Bad Juju is a fantastic weapon and one of the most fun guns to use in PvE. In PvP, the value of this gun drops a bit. Bad Juju needs 3 bursts to the head and 4 bursts to the body to take out a Guardian in the Crucible. That's a lot of bullets, but thanks to its high rate of fire, the time to kill remains pretty low. With 0.96 seconds if all shots land to the head for crits, and 1.3 seconds if they all land to the body, you'll be able to take out enemies fairly rapidly, although it does lose out in this area to some of the other exotics. The real problem with Bad Juju in the Crucible is that its exotic perks just don't feel that exotic in the Crucible. Hipfire loses effectiveness because at the range it truly works, you would probably be better off with a shotgun or even a fusion rifle. And neither of the String of Curses effects are really game-changing. Not having to reload after a kill will make sure you can immediately start firing at the next enemy, but in most encounters, I would rather be facing a single opponent at a time anyway, so reloads are rarely what gets me killed. Getting more of a charge to your super is also less impactful in PvP. The effect of this is basically getting your supercharged in 1 fewer kills than normal. Since kills come at a slower pace in PvP than they do in PvE, and since supers are normally more strategically used in PvP, I just don't find that it's very useful. So even if you really like the way this gun handles in PvP, I think in most scenarios, you would be better off picking a legendary pulse rifle with a similar damage profile but better perks, and saving your exotic for another slot. So that's it. Bad Juju is a great PvE weapon if paired with classes that synergize well with it, but kind of a waste of an exotic in PvP. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Bad Juju. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.